Hello world, it is Thursday, November 30th, 2023, and looking out the window at Defiance, it's a bright, beautiful, sunny morning. 32 degrees, so a bit warmer than yesterday in the 20s, and I think it's supposed to get into the 50s today, or near 50. The devotion for today is entitled, What Mary Whispered by Matt Laney. Matt bases the devotion upon Romans chapter 10, verse 17, New Revised Standard Version. Faith comes from what is heard, and what is heard comes through the word of Christ. And then Matt writes, right before standing up to give my very first sermon as a seminary student, the Reverend Dr. Mary Ludy leaned over and, through her characteristic impish grin, whispered, "Preach the word, brother." I froze. Preach the word? I planned to dish up some tasty ideas before sitting down again. Nevertheless, I preached what I had prepared, something about comparing worship to a dinner party, blah, blah, blah. Mary seemed happy enough, which was all I cared about at the time. 2 decades later, I continued to hear Mary whispering that to me. I'm still not completely sure what it means to preach the word, but it isn't about offering tasty treats or tasty ideas or churchy blah, blah, blah. It's not my word I'm called to preach, but Christ. Christ is the word. Salvation comes by faith, and faith comes by hearing the word of Christ. What Mary whispered could have been yelled. When staring at a blank computer screen on Thursday afternoons, I often ask myself, what's Jesus saying here? And why does it matter? How does Jesus embody this teaching? How can I? Those questions are not only helpful for preachers 1 or 2 days a week. I dare say they are important for all Jesus followers every day. Jesus as the Word made flesh is what Christianity, preaching, and life are all about. What will your life say today? Whatever the day brings, preach the Word. And Matt's prayer. Christ, let my life speak your word. Amen. Well, a couple things that come to mind as I was reading this is I think the importance is to live as Jesus taught and to let your life embody his teaching. As Matt said, as he contemplates what to write for his sermons, what's Jesus saying here and why does it matter? And how does Jesus embody this teaching? How does Jesus embody the teaching? How does Jesus bring the teaching to life in his own life? And those are questions for us as well. How do we embody those teachings that we learn in what we do in everyday life? This made me think of when I was in seminary. I had to do a paper, or I did a paper once on indigenous faith traditions. And one of the things that really struck me in looking at North American indigenous people is that their faith was not something separate or outside their life. It was an integral part. Everything they did, everything they said, the way they moved in the world, their faith was integrated in what they did, which often European Christians who saw them like praying over deer that they may have just killed for food thought they were praying to the deer. And in fact, they were giving thanks to the Creator for providing this meal and giving thanks to the deer for giving up its life for their life. That's embodying your faith in that way, and that's really what I think it should be all about. And I think it just seems to me so many Christians in the Western world, especially in the United States, get it wrong. They're so enamored with trying to follow the rules rather than embodying the faith in their own life, which is kind of ironic because Jesus complained about the religious authorities in his time, accusing them of the same sorts of things, trying to be pious and hold the sacred truths without actually living the truth, embodying it in their lives behind them, and understanding that it's not about personal salvation or personal piety, but about communal living, living as one with one another and as one with all of God's creation. So I guess I'll close with Vince's or Matt's prayer, Matt's question. What will your life say today? Anyway, it's Thursday. I hope you'll join us for worship on Sunday, either in person, 950 Webster Street in Defiance, Ohio. Music starts about 10:15 with announcements at 10:27 and worship immediately following that. It is the first Sunday in Advent, changing things up a little bit for Advent in terms of the order of worship. Of course, and we'll also have an Advent wreath that we'll be lighting the candle for. So it should be interesting. And if you can't join us in person, you can also join us on Facebook Live. But I really would appreciate those of you who do join on Facebook Live to use the comment section on Facebook Live to tell us you're there, say good morning to one another, and if there's any prayer concerns or responses you're going to have to the questions I'm going to be asking, in place of the normal pastoral prayer, to ask them there and participate in the worship with us. So if not, then I just hope to talk to you soon, hopefully on Monday. Take care and enjoy this beautiful day.